Hello, my YouTube family and friends. I pray that everyone is having a blessed day today. I pray that you were already blessed when you woke up this morning. The Lord blessed us all. But I pray that you are having just a beautiful day today in Jesus' name. I pray that you will go out and bless somebody. I pray that somebody will bless you as well. And as always, if you have not said it already, come on, let's say it together. Thank you, Jesus, for another day. So I wanted to hop on here real quick. I have a meeting at 3, so I wanted to hop on here real quick and share um, just another, incident that happened in my life. And this has been many, many, many years ago, but it's still happening. I enjoy sharing what I've gone through, praying that it will help somebody else. So this happened probably when I was a preteen. I think I was just I was actually in elementary. I remember that. And so at the time, of course, I was living with my stepdad, my mom, my little brother, and I can't remember if my little sister was born or not yet, but I know definitely it was my little brother. Me and him were 8 years apart. And so we lived in the projects, and behind us was they're all connected, but behind us there was this old lady. And so she's an older white lady, and she made dolls. And I don't remember how. I just remember I was young, so she was a lot, of course, just a lot older than me in my mind. But she seemed like she was a nice lady. I don't really remember much about her, but I remember some kind of way I ended up going in where she lived, and in her place to live in. And I remember just being so amazed at the dolls that she made these dolls. And so to my knowledge, she made them, and they were just everywhere. And so they looked so real. A lot of them looked like they were just super real. So I remember bugging my parent, my mom, telling her I really wanted a doll. And I seemed like I remember the dolls being they weren't cheap, because they really looked really lifelike, and they were not cheap at all. And so I think she had names for all of them, and they were dressed really nice. And I mean, they were not, it's not like how the dolls, but I'm going to get to that later here in a little bit. But I was going to say they're not like the dolls you see now, but it wouldn't be because of, I'm going to tell you why. But anyway, some kind of way I ended up, my mom ended up getting a doll for me. She purchased the doll, and I remember being so happy about that. And the doll, you could move the arm and everything. And then when you stood the doll up, I don't know if any of you all remember, but you know how the eyelids, the eyes, so you lay the doll down, I think the eyes closed, and you stood them up, the eyes was open. And so I remember taking her home, and I had my own room of course. So I had like a little area in my room where I could put my clothes. It really wasn't a closet. I guess you can say it was maybe half of a closet. We lived in a project, so it was really small, that little area. But I could I had a little pole where I could hang my clothes up. And then on top of that, above that, was like a little where I could put books or whatever. So that's where I put the doll. And I remember this one particular night. I mean, y'all, I cannot make this up. I remember this one particular night. I had woke up, and my mom, now keep in mind, we were all upstairs, the bedrooms. There was only 2 bedrooms, so we were all upstairs at this time. I believe my baby brother, he was a baby, because I remember the crib being in my mom's room, their bed, and then I had my own room. And like, again, that's all it was. It was downstairs was the kitchen, the little living area. You went up the steps, bathroom at the top of the steps, one bathroom. And then you had the 2 bedrooms, and that was the end of the, that was all of the place. But anyway, and had a few windows in it. And so I remember this one particular night, I woke up, and the bed just started shaking. And like somebody was just literally shaking the bed, like just shaking it. It was shaking continuously. And I was like, I'm a child, because I'm like, what's going on? And so I didn't scream, I didn't holler or anything. I remember just getting out of the bed, and it still was shaking. And I remember, I think I glanced up at the doll, but the door was just standing there, and she had it like on a red dress, so the door was just standing there. And uh and I just want to say this: I rebuke the devil. I rebuke any plot, plan, and scheme he has over your life and over my life as well. It all must return to the pit of hell, because we are free in Jesus, and Jesus will do everything he said he would do for us, because we are his children. So anyway, the again, the bed was shaking just terribly. So I got out of the bed, and went. There was like a little walkway from in between. When I came out of my room, there was like this. My mom had this long mirror on the wall there, and so when I passed by, like, I would come out of my room and go kind of bear toward the right just a little bit, because the place is real small, and I would go, I would be in their room. So I looked, I sort of looked in their room, and this was night. This was like in the middle of the morning, I think. And so I looked in their room. The house just pitch dark. I looked in their room, and they were just asleep. They were asleep, and I was like, I don't know why I didn't. To this day, I don't know why I did not wake them up or anything. I was just scared out of my mind, and I remember just sitting there in that floor area right there in front of that mirror, and the bed was just still shaking. It was still shaking, y'all. I mean, just shaking. Like somebody was just shaking it, and I can't remember. I can't remember when it stopped. It did it for a little while longer, and then it finally stopped. And but I was like, I was just, I'm a child, because I'm like, what is going on? All I knew, I was awakened from my sleep, and I'm like, what is going on? Why would my bed be shaking and nobody's shaking it, that I can see shaking it? But see, this would be my introduction to demons. This would be how I would know that demons are real. This would be how I know that when you bring demonic things into your home, things, items, that's how, this is real, y'all. That's why I'm sharing this. It's real. And I, like I said, to this day, I never shared this with my parents. The next day I just got up. I got back in the bed after it stopped shaking. And I can't remember. It seemed like like I said, it's been such a long time ago, but it seemed like I was hearing like some, noises or something. I can't remember the details, but all I remember, that bed was shaking. That bed was it was shaking while I was in it. And then when I got out of it, it still was shaking. I just sat there in the middle of that floor, because I was like, I don't want to get back in that bed. And I can't remember. I want to say for the next couple of nights, I was a little scared. I kind of sat up or whatever. I can't remember. Like I said, it's been such a long time ago. But finally, things went back. It never happened again. It never happened again. But I shared that I said that to say this, is that, when we are young, the enemy tries to come in. I was a child, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't, I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't know. I didn't even know what I was experiencing. But when we are children, that's when the enemy, we're most vulnerable. That's when the enemy wants to come in and place his nasty hands on us and try to steer us away from what God has for us. God, the devil knew. He knew then. God had greatness for me. He knew I was going to get married. He knew I was going to have children. He knew. I don't know if he knew, but he sensed greatness in me, about about you, about all of God's children. And so, at that young age, he was trying to destroy me. I should have probably lost my mind. I should have went crazy after that. I should have got on a lot of painkillers, or been depressed, and it didn't work. So because the Jesus had me in the palm of his hand even then, and he still has us all. And so he knows our beginning and he knows our end. But again, I don't know why I did not. And how I know this was demonic was because it never woke up my parents. Nobody sleep. That bed was shaking, and it was spiritual. Only I could see it. Only I could see what was going on and hear what was going on. I mean, it was like a bunch of people was on the bed just shaking it, and I could hear every rattle in the bed, and I was like, it scared, I mean, it just scared me so bad. And I just sat there, I sat there in my pajamas in the floor, just looking in there, and it still was shaking. And I can't, like I said, it went on for a little while, and then it finally just stopped. It stopped. But after that, I don't even know how I knew that door was associated with that. But I got rid of that door. I can't remember. I wish I could remember. I cannot remember what happened. Like, what did I do with that door? But I remember taking the door down from that, because she kind of was standing up over me, so to speak. Because, when I laid down in my bed, she was a pretty tall door. I don't know how many feet she was, but she was pretty tall. But, and of course her eyes were always open because she was standing up. But I remember she had on a red dress, and I had blue eyes, and I just, I got rid of that door. I can't remember if I threw her away, or I think I took her down and I hid her or something for a while. But I did not know. I no longer wanted her standing up in my room like that. And like I said, it never happened again. But I think eventually, I tore it up, or I threw it away. I can't remember what happened to it. But I got it out of my room because I was like, oh, and even as a child, I didn't even understand what was going on, but I knew it was something. And see, the Lord was working on me then. And I was just a child. Didn't even know what was going on, but I knew enough to know that whatever went on that night, it was associated with that demonic doll. And so that's what I'm talking about, you all, is that we got to be careful. We got to be careful what items we bring in our house. Everything that's tied to demonic realm, everything don't happen like that. Some things are more, a little bit more quiet, because they're doing a whole lot of more damage that way. And you people say, well, I get migraines all the time. Every time I go in this room, or every time, search around your house and see what you have. And, and I can't blame my parents or anything, because they didn't know. They didn't know, and they still don't know. But that traumatized me. It traumatized me so much, and let me tell you how God is so good. It was not until 2021, I believe was the year. If I'm not mistaken, Jesus help me out with this. It was 2021, I believe. A few months before my husband would be called out of this earth into heaven, that it was revealed to me that was destroyed in my life. That door was destroyed. No longer could cause any damage to my life. No longer had any tie to my life in the spiritual realm. And I didn't realize, because I wrote it in my journal. I can't remember what the Lord revealed to me, but basically, it's gone. That door is no longer. And I remember seeing in the spirit where it was destroyed. The door was completely destroyed. So that's what I'm saying. I did not realize that by my mom purchasing that door for me. And like I said, I remember wanting it so badly. Oh, it was just so beautiful and mesmerizing. But see, that's what the enemy does. That's what he does. Things can be so enticing to us, so beautiful to us, and it could cause so much havoc on our lives. And I'm 50 years old. And at the time, in 2021, I wasn't 50. But what I'm saying is that look how many years that and I didn't even realize that. I would often, the Lord was bringing a lot of things to my remembrance before my late husband passed away. It was just things from my way back, and I was able to recall a lot of things. And we want to